Well, hello, lovely people. Welcome to today's pick a card reading. Today, we will be looking into something that you are not noticing about a situation where you feel stuck in. And this thing that you're not noticing somehow in it contains the key to moving out of this stuckness that you are feeling currently. So as you can see, there are three piles to choose from. Choose either the bird or the jewelry piece that speaks to you, and let's explore your situation and what you're not seeing in it. Hi, pile one. If you chose either the perspective card or we have this brown stone ring over here, then this is your part of the reading. Let's get into it. It might be kind of short because your cards are very straightforward today. Let's actually start with this perspective card. You can see how the crow is hanging upside down. And the idea with this card is that sometimes in order to catch certain types of prey, crows need to get into this weird looking position in order to do it. And the idea of this card is that very easy to see based also on the subject of today's video. You are failing to see a certain part of a situation, and you need to slow down and hold off from like any brash decisions at this time, because you might still not have all of the information. Like, you literally have to get yourself into a different state of mind, into a different position, in order to grasp a different perspective of this, which would allow you to then decide on the course of action. And in the tarot, the first card that came up for you actually fell to its side. So it didn't come neither in the upright nor in the reversed position. And this is the Three of Swords, with it followed by the Six of Swords. So what this is giving me is that you are in this limbo state, primarily in your mind, because Swords energy speaks of the mind, where something hurt you and you are re-hurting yourself, so to say. So I don't know if that makes sense said in such way, but we can imagine, for instance, a scenario where something negative happened, and then by you going back to it and mulling over it in your mind, you are sort of re-hurting yourself. Like, the situation is over, but you still carry some kind of baggage from it. Or even if there was no outward situation necessarily, because with the Three of Swords, it doesn't have to be. It can be something completely coming from your mind, something where you are speaking words of disencouragement to yourself. So being mean to yourself, being pessimistic, saying things like, I can't do this, or this will never work because this and this and this and this, and always finding, like, your mind finding the hurt in a situation instead of finding a solution to it. And with the Six, it is showing you that you are trying, exactly like how this card fell to its side. So you are neither completely in the trenches, but you are also not completely moving out of them. You are in this limbo state of going back and forth. Now, what you're not seeing in this situation to move on from it is that you will need to refocus your energy elsewhere. Two of the cards that came up for you, one after the other, we have the two aces. And aces are, generally speaking, new beginnings. Like, it is the first card, it is the start of something new. And we have you pouring on the one side in your emotional life. It can speak of relationships too, as well. Specifically, like, manifestation of its energy can be pouring into relationships, but it's generally speaking about your emotional life and well-being. And on the other side, we have the Ace of Wands, which is your fiery side. It is the spark of creativity. It is starting something new with your energy, like pouring your energy into building something that lights you up and excites you. So the first step of you moving out of this stuck energy, which you can't currently figure out with your mind, because your mind can only see this much and this far into things. It can't grasp things that it has not previously experienced. Like, it's kind of like you don't know what you don't know. You have to see it, you have to experience it, you have to read about it somewhere, someone has to tell you, in order for you to know that there is a different side, that there is a different perspective, that there is something else. And for you to start to grasp this, you need to consciously decide to not focus your mental energy on the worrying right now. And I'm guessing that you're probably focusing really hard on finding a solution to this unpleasant situation, how to move out of it. And because you can't find it, you know, it is a loop. It's like the devil's circle, like the Germans say. So yes, you need to consciously decide to not engage in it, or at least, I mean, your mind will do more or less what it wants, but you have the control to, when you see yourself falling in that pattern, to steer your energy somewhere else. Again, it can be like with this card, working on some kind of creative hobby, doing sports, something engaging your energy and body, but body not in a grounding way like yoga. That would be more of a pentacle energy. This is something that needs to get your blood pumping, something that excites you. And with the Ace of Cups, something that speaks to your emotional side. I really can't think of a good example, just because this is not something I personally engage in as well. But this would maybe be like journaling. This can be things like swimming. This can be things like doing music, writing lyrics. Hell, even maybe meditating would be part of this. It's just, I don't know how to explain it to you guys. It is watery energy. It is reconnecting with one's emotions and feeling comfortable. This will have to do with you feeling comfortable. So it can be taking a long bath. Just think about whether there is something of this sort that you want to do, and do it. Or if at the very least you can't think of anything as well, I don't know, Google it. Do some research on what you can do to feed this energy and try some things. The goal for you would be to get your mind primarily unstuck from focusing on this problem. There is this principle that sometimes, you know, we want to understand things before we do them, but maybe not always, but at least sometimes, spiritually wise, you need to first do something and later on understand and get the clarity on why you had to do it. And this is what I'm getting from the last two cards that came up for you. I'm guessing that this will be some kind of grand realization generally outside of this particular situation, just in your life, that in order to get yourself unstuck, this is again the card of the perspective shift. This is the Hanged Man, who is doing just that, hanging upside down and enjoying himself in his discomfort. When in this position, he again speaks about you being stagnant into something. And in order to move towards the, I can't think of the word, the Justice card is in my mind, whatever, in order to move out of this energy and towards the energy of your highest potential, you again need this perspective shift. You need some kind of clarity, but this is not clarity that comes from the mind. It is clarity that comes out from somewhere outside of you. It is like the card of the higher calling. It is the type of asking or praying for advice and then getting clarity all of a sudden while you are outside on a walk. It is always, there is something to be said that oftentimes you don't necessarily get answers when you are just sitting down and mulling over them. Like, there is an aspect of meditation where you can sit down, where you learn to focus your mind, but it's not during your practice necessarily that this clarity will come to you. It will come at a later point. It might even come during a point where you are not focusing on it. For instance, sometimes I feel like I get my most genius ideas when I am sorts of sleeping, sorts of meditating, only in the afternoon. So I basically, if I'm tired, I don't feel like doing anything, I would lie down on my back for like an hour or something. I don't fall asleep. That's why I say it's like napping and meditating somewhere in the middle. And I just let my mind drift. So it might be in that state of complete relaxation that this new perspective hits you. But again, don't focus on that as a first step. Focus on bringing your mind away from its current battlefield of trying to think its way out of this. Thinking your way out of this is not the way to go at it. You need to go at it again at the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups type of way. Because I'm guessing that I probably didn't explain it all too well, you can Google those two cards to maybe get some other ideas, but engage the emotions, the emotional body and the comfort, and engage the creativity and the spark and the fire inside of you somehow. And for now, don't worry about it. Step away from worrying about how you will figure this out and how things will happen. Good, pile one, this is my advice to you. I hope that it was helpful despite my lack of clear explanation today. And yeah, I wish you all the luck. Hey pile 2, if you chose either this blue ring over here or the anomaly card number 2, then this is your part of the reading. Let's get into it. It might get a bit convoluted. So, because based on the tarot I pulled for you guys, I got a couple of messages and then it got interesting with the anomaly card. So, generally speaking, with the anomaly, to start off with that, this represents something which would be really striking, because we are generally asking about something that you don't see coming. It is more likely that this thing still hasn't happened, and that it will be something coming up next. But anywho, maybe it has, because it is a general reading at the end of the day. So, with the anomaly, the idea is that you get presented with something, some sort of circumstance, evidence, that is so striking and out of the ordinary that you notice it immediately. Like, the white crow is something extremely atypical to a normal murder of crows, basically. And this can signify, for instance, I looked in the book for this example, that it can pertain to a relationship where you are wondering whether the behavior of someone is abnormal, like it is a one-time thing and they are acting out of character, or if indeed this is their character and this is just the first sign to look out for. You know how people on the internet love to say, like, when someone shows you their face, like, believe them the first time. Yes, generally speaking, sure, but there is also something to be said that sometimes in extreme circumstances, not saying life or death type of circumstances, but in high stress situations, people may tend to get back to their primitive behaviors that, like, sure, they are one's true face, but I mean, we all try, or at least I hope we all try to improve ourselves during the course of our life. So when you work on fixing some type of personality flaw, let's say, that you have within yourself, and you do good like 364 days out of a year, and then on the last day of the year something extreme happens and you revert back to your previous ways, I don't think that that's necessarily like the cutoff place for a relationship. So this is something that you, if you relate to it, it is something that you need to deal with as as a philosophical question, let's say. But either way of your exact situation and whether, let's say, this person in this situation would deserve a second chance or not, whether it is an outlier or it is actually the typical thing you need to recognize will happen again and again, you will see about that. But the focus for you here will be for you to work with your, I want to use another word, you will need to work with your internal understanding and viewpoint of relationships and how you need to move with them. So let me elaborate, because like I said, this will be somehow convoluted. Maybe it's not my time to speak today. So there is this really strong emphasis in your reading of self-esteem, material possessions, and building relationships. And these three things will be connected with you in the sense of, I feel like you might fall from one extreme to the other, where at one point you might rely really heavily on other people and on their guidance in order to know who you are and what you are going to pursue. And then maybe when this outlier happens, you pull back like you do a 180 and you completely close yourself off. And this might be connected with your understanding of like material safety. I mean, in a sense, it is more emotional safety, but I feel like with you, one might bleed into the other. You might be a person who likes to provide everything for themselves, so you can make sure that there is not the point in which another person comes in and strips you off of all of that. I feel like this might be an issue. And if this is the case, it is stemming from this type of you somehow not trusting yourself and you looking for the outside guidance. And a part of that might again also be that you're trying to be all too assured and to know that everything that you cannot lose your material standing, your emotional standing, like anything, that your security is there. Yes, maybe security is a good word to describe both of these energies. So you just swing back and forth. And I feel like what you're not seeing here is exactly that swinging motion that you are doing. I don't know if you would relate to the part of the message where you might be too dependent on other people or you might be too independent, but whichever of the two sides you are on, you are not seeing that they are both a part of you, and they are, because they are the two extremes. Like, you are not, granted, we all pendulum a little bit back and forth. You can't be perfectly aligned all of the time, but let's say that this much of a deviation is completely fine, but you take it more than that. You have this much of a deviation, and this deviation is wanting that stability, let's say security and stability, and keeping completely to yourself and making sure that no one can shake you, and then having faith in some kind of union, relationship, help from another person, and shaking all the way to the other side where you become dependent stability wise on that person. And again, a little bit of deviation, that's fine. Like, when you relate to people, when you relate to the world, you are not going to be a perfect rock and completely emotionally stable all of the time. But you just need to not take it into extremes. So what, again, to reiterate, what you are still not seeing is this tendency to extremes. I mean, you might know of it in the sense of, yes, I have heard this before. Yes, you are telling me the same thing now, or my friend told me the same thing 2 years ago. You might have heard about it, but it has not fully seeped into your mind. It's just the words without you having the emotional feeling of the words, like you have not internalized them, so to say. So I feel like this will be the next step here for you. Maybe there will be some kind of huge anomaly happening relationship-wise for you, which would bring you to see this balance that you are keeping inside of yourself, and you would have to work through it. You have to work on the part where maybe you deal with some kind of scarcity mindset about your security. Again, I don't want to say it's necessarily material wise. I feel like it is an all-encompassing issue of you just giving everything and trying everything, both relationships, money, and everything, just to feel secure across the board. And it is stemming from one place, and afterwards it's just branching out. The other thing, like we mentioned, with the Queen of Wands coming up in the reversed position, this is again the lack of security in yourself, in the sense that you might be afraid that people would not accept you, that you might be asking too much, or that you don't have something to offer. Let's call it again just general insecurity and lack of confidence in oneself. And there is definitely the aspect of you trying to overwork yourself and overcompensate. Let me show you the exact card. Like this sad little bull over here that's carrying all of the weight on its back. You only have that much of a capacity. I mean, even if you can handle 500 kilograms of stuff going up and down a hill, 1,000 would be too much. So again, it is that idea of not falling into extremes. You need to pour energy into help. You need to outsource certain things. You need to have a meaningful union with people and build community in order to truly feel secure. And there is, of course, this caveat that when you rely on other people outside of yourself, the more holes in your armor. I mean, the easier it would be for others to pull that security from out of you. But once you have built something, once you have the skill set, the knowledge, the wisdom that you have gone through it and that you can do it, even if everything collapses, you know that you can do it again. At the same time, it might give the false hope, the false feeling of assuredness that if you only rely on yourself, you'd be fine. But I mean, that's not true. People are pack animals. The way you survive and thrive beyond that is to have the help of people around you who carry different types of skill sets. But even if you don't see it from such a way, like the most basic level, pragmatic way I can think of is that you might be top of the world, you might be taking care of yourself, and tomorrow you might get hit by a car, and then there is no one to take care of you. That type of thing. So no matter where you are exactly in life, whether you rely 100% on other people, 100% on yourself, there is always something that can happen that can completely blow that security to smithereens. So you kind of need to learn to have some kind of flexibility and to look at things from a distance, not so emotionally charged, so you can grasp the whole of the situation, like both the middle and the two extremes that you tend to fall into. Yeah, Pile 2, let's leave it at that, because I feel like I am talking like a turtle would. Good, I hope that this was helpful. If not, then disregard it and go watch something else, and I wish you all the luck. Hey Pile 3, If you chose this bracelet here with the stone heart or the ghost card number 20, then this is your part of the reading. Let's get into it. It is like with pile 1, really straightforward today for you guys. So what I want to do, because I feel like this encompasses the message of the tarot cards perfectly as well, I will read to you word for word what the ghosts card stands for. So, ghosts are shadows of the past. Let them visit, but don't let them stay. They no longer hold substance in your world, and if they linger too long, they may become trapped in your psyche. Have you ever found yourself having an argument with someone who wasn't even in the room? The argument plays out in your head. That situation that brought you the feelings and emotions that led to the internal disagreement is a ghost. Like a ghost repeating the pattern of walking through a room as it has done each night since its human form passed, it is stuck in a moment in time. There is nothing that can be said or done that will change what has occurred. Ghosts asks you that you examine your feelings regarding a past event. Are you able to find acceptance and move forward into healing? Are you unable to forgive or seek forgiveness, allowing old wounds of the past to remain open? Pay attention to when ghosts appear. They may indicate the source of a block. It might be time for an exorcism. Now, I would, I don't know if you feel like listening to the tarot part of this, but I would urge you, if you have at least seen this, to write down the couple of questions that the booklet asked you and to sit down with yourself and think a little bit about it. What's this thing in your life that has been over with, or which you will, as a next step, come to terms with being over, that you are still clinging on to? I'm guessing that what you are not seeing probably is maybe you are in the disbelief stage that this situation is over, or it might be still kind of like lingering, exactly like a ghost, like you are still not mentally there to let go of it. You will have to deal with this pile 3. Based on the tarot, again, this is a general reading, so take only the parts that are helpful to you. Not to say ignore the negative parts, not at all, but just take the details that might actually fit with your situation. But the thing that might be over might be some type of friendship, relationship, if not that, at the very least, some kind of nice place or nice time of your life, maybe a part of your youth where you would go back to your hometown and go out with friends and reminisce over the good old days, but now everyone's, I don't know, married and having children, and like that part is over, you can't get back to it. It might be just speaking about the easier times previously, because this is a card generally referencing us having fun, being social, like having a blast, having a party. That's the energy of the thing that is over for you. And I feel like you are, it might be that you have put a lot of effort previously to sow these seeds, or at the very least, even if it didn't feel like effort, it's the type of thing where you say to yourself, like, oh man, I spent so many years, so many efforts, so much either time or effort to build this. Like, it was a type of life's work, and now I have to let it go and move on to something else. Like, this doesn't make sense. And I feel like you are sitting down, mulling over the drama of this thing having to be over, which is like, good, sit with your feelings, process them, but don't sit so long that you miss out on other opportunities. Like, life is a game of constant change, and even if you don't necessarily yourself decide to close a certain door, doors will be closed. It is at least better to feel like you have the agency to have made a decision and to have put that energy that you will either way be spending it, whether you are sitting on your ass or doing something proactively in a new direction. Like the energy cannot be contained. Like with electricity cannot be kept like you can keep gas in a barrel. It will disappear either way. So you might as well use it when you have it. And again, as a start, when you face this situation, I'm not saying like push the feelings down and just throw yourself into some kind of new escapism. This is not it. Take some time, recharge, think about it, go over the past, like reminisce about it, think about what you want to do next. That's fine. But don't spend too much time in that energy, because there will be new opportunities presented to you, but there needs to be someone there who will be open to receiving said opportunities. Don't, so to say, fall victim of, again, trying to grasping too firmly on what you feel is in your control, like things you have already achieved, things that feel material to you. Like, for instance, I don't know, with the example with the hometown, you are used to every year going back to your hometown because you have a house there, yeah, like your parents are there, your friends are there, but over the years your friend group starts to move. Some people go abroad, some people change cities, some of them get married and have no time to hang out or whatever. Like, that part of your life where you, for instance, spend summer break together is already over. And because that gave you comfort, you continue to go back every year and to stand there and to try to reach out to those people. Like, you are clenching your pentacles, like you are clenching that sense of stability, that house, that place, those people. But realistically, they are not the thing that is bringing you stability. They are a sign of the past, and now it is the time to let them go, because in holding so strongly onto them, you are missing out on gaining other positives, like other pentacles. And again, not to say that moving into this new part of your life, let's say, and leaving the past behind, not to say that it's not going to require time or effort, but it will be worthwhile effort. When you start working in that decision, you will see the fruits of your labor. Again, not saying that this is something instantaneous. In fact, even if it doesn't necessarily take a lot of physical time, to you, to your mind, it will feel like it is long and dreadrous. Just because it's something new, just because you are sowing the seeds and you can't really know that things are going to happen and they're going to work out. You just have to trust it. Like, that's the paradox oftentimes, that you just have to do things and hope for the best, basically. But when you do them, when you pour your heart into them, you will get results. And in the worst case scenario, even if no results happen the first time, like you decide, I'm gonna take this route, I'm gonna try this and this and this. Even if nothing happens, at least you have the data set that you can do it, that you have tried it, that you will not die if things don't work out. And then each other time you have to do it again, or you decide with your own sense of agency that you want to do it again, it will become easier and easier. And like, generally speaking, when we put wholehearted effort into something, there is always positive results to reap out of it. Even if it's not the result that you had hoped for when you planted the seed, at the very least you will get taught something in the process. Maybe you didn't know how to water the plant, so the plant died. Great, then next year we know exactly how to sow it and how to water it. Then we are gonna get something in return. We are gonna get one crop. Then the year after that we're gonna get 5 crops. And each and every time it turns into a less and less investment for you and brings you more and more. Take it at the very least, because no one can truly guarantee you results in life. Like, death and taxes, the only things that are certain, and taxes are definitely not. At the very least, when you start to do it, you will build yourself up and you will build that security within yourself to know that even if there is no material possession at the end of the rainbow, there is knowledge, there is wisdom, there is another building block in your own temple of you. So pile 3, this is what you are still not seeing, or maybe you are closing your eyes off to at this point. You will need to let what has died in the past die peacefully and go away, and you will need to move towards something new. And trust me, it's not going to be dramatic. I promise. If I am wrong, you can go back and curse me in the comments. Good. Pile 3, I hope that this was helpful, and I wish you all the luck on your road and wind of change.